Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Saskatchewan has introduced more public health measures. Effective Thursday, mandatory masking is in place province-wide. Indoor gatherings are reduced to 5 people, and gatherings of any size beyond your immediate household are discouraged. If your immediate family is 5 or greater, you cannot have additional visitors. People are also encouraged to work from home as much as possible. Meantime, Saskatchewan is reporting 240 new cases of COVID-19. 16 of those cases are in the Northwest Zone, which includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 2,055 cases are considered active, with 37 of those in the Northwest 2 subzone, which is the immediate Lloydminster area. 71 people are in hospital, 3 of those in our zone. 15 people are in intensive care. 113 people have recovered. The new City Council is officially sworn in and prepared to begin its work for the next 4 years. Eric Bay reports.
The new normal was apparent at City Hall last night, with everyone wearing masks while council members took their seats. Mayor Gerald Albers addressed council, noting the challenges the city faces while sharing words of hope.
There's always challenges here at City Hall and moving forward. So certainly there'll be some very active debate about the budget, I'm sure. We'll look to the COVID report and see where we're at as a community, as a budget from this past year, the impacts on our city. And we'll wait and see what the federal and 2 provincial governments have in store for us in a budget that comes out in the spring.
Council won't have long to settle in, with orientation taking place this week and budget talks looming on the agenda.
There's a lot to the operations and the running of a city, and then after that it's straight into budget. So it'll be a hard few days and a lot of information, but looking forward to it to get informed.
With 4 councillors serving their second consecutive term and another with previous council experience, Mayor Albers believes that experience will be important as the city moves forward in uncertain times.
With the existing council that was here before, and as the new council of the day, I think we'll face those challenges head on. There's no question that experience helps at this point. Councillor Baker is no longer sitting at this table, but I know he'll be speaking. I know he's got some words in my mind already that I've already used.
Council will meet for the first time on Monday. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This year's Parade of Lights will go on as planned despite COVID-19. Connor Channa has more on how this year's event will look.
Joining us today here on Primetime Local News is Parade of Lights founder Ryan Leblanc. Now, Ryan, of course, we're getting ready for the event this year, but just give us a little bit of background on the event for those that may not be familiar with it.
So the Lloydminster Parade of Lights was founded about 6 years ago. This event was developed to kind of bring something to the community around Christmas time and something that was going to be free to the community. The idea started off actually just on a back road somewhere. And then the first year we thought, well, why not have it right downtown Lloydminster? And every year it's grown substantially, and it's been an exciting event to put on.
How important was it for you guys to have this event despite many things in the community being canceled due to COVID-19?
Yeah, no, it was extremely important to us. We thought, how can we make this happen? So we did reach out to the Saskatchewan COVID emergency response team and got some guidelines through them. Unfortunately, we are unable to have the event downtown Lloydminster again this year. So we are going to look at hosting it at the Exhibition Association on their grounds, and having it so the community drives through the displays this year. So people won't be allowed to exit their vehicle or walk through the displays. However, they'll be able to jump in the car with their families, and we'll have a path through the exhibition grounds there to showcase those displays.
Are you hoping that the turnout is the same as previous years, despite this year being a little bit different?
I think we've had a few calls here over the last couple of days in regards to, what's the size limit of their floats that they're able to put in. I think it'll actually, people, maybe capitalize on the fact that they'll have an area to decorate, so they can go off of their display if they want to decorate on the ground around their area. So I think people will really get creative when it comes to this event this year.
I know it's been a bit of a fundraiser in the past as well. So is that going to be the case this year, or what's the plan for you guys for that?
So we're not going to be doing so much of the fundraising this year, just because of the fact of the economic times right now are tough for everybody. But we are still meeting, and we'll make those decisions here in the near future.
Now, can people still enter a float if they want to? And if so, how can they do that?
So we're gonna hopefully develop a new application document that will be released here this week, so people can look on the exhibition's website as well as our Facebook page to get that document. Once they fill that document out and sign it, they can send it into the exhibition, and we'll send them an email back to confirm that we've received it.
Just before we wrap up here, Ryan, when is the Parade of Lights, and where can people go for more information if they need it?
So it's going to be December 17th. It's always the Thursday before Christmas. And we're not sure the times yet. We're probably going to open it up a little bit earlier to the community to start driving through, as you know, it gets dark earlier nowadays. So we're going to drive through we're going to open up the event a little bit earlier, and people will have a few hours to drive through the displays that evening.
Well, Ryan, I really appreciate your time, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
An Alberta-wide donation drive is being held this weekend with drop-off locations in Lloydminster and Vermilion. We spoke with Tigra Lee Campbell for more information on the event. I'm joined here with Tigra Lee Campbell, and she is with Lloydminster and Vermilion for Equity. Now, this group is participating in an Alberta-wide donation drive, so can you just explain what that is?
Yes, so our Alberta-wide donation drive is in partnership with Alberta Humanitarian Initiative. It's an umbrella group for other grassroots organizations across Alberta. We will be hosting a drive in Lloydminster at City Hall, and there will also be one in Vermilion at the Pollinator Gardens. That's where we usually like to set up, between 12 and 5 on November 21st.
And what kind of items are you looking for?
We're looking for non-perishable food items, perishable food items, winter gear for men, women, and children, winter boots, socks, new, toques and gloves, and yeah, that pretty much covers it.
And why did you really feel that it was important to participate in something like this?
We really see the need for these secondhand items in our communities. We've had organizations request specific items that are on our items list. If you go to our Facebook page, Lloydminster and Vermilion for Equity, we have an event page set up specifically for this event, where you can see the items that we are requesting and those organizations are requesting as well.
And working with the Alberta Humanitarian Initiative and the other groups around Alberta, what does it mean to you to see that amount of support around the province?
It is an awesome collective comprised of these great leaders from these groups all across Alberta. We even have a lady that's out in BC, and you know, teamwork makes the dream work, and we really see our mission and objective being spread with the numbers in this group. So it's very humbling, really, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
And you mentioned that on your Facebook page you have other events. So what is coming up in the future for the group?
We have we've started a book club, and that is on November 22nd. We're reading Stamped from the Beginning by Ibrahim Kendi. We have done 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act in the Past. We also have a new series that we started called Cooking with Cultures. That will be December 13th at 2 p.m. It's also via Zoom. So the next dish that we are cooking is jerk chicken and rice and peas. So I'm really excited about that. The last dish that we made was chicken and dumplings with Keisha Daniels, who is founder of Black Falls Against Racism. That was delicious. It was so good. So I'm super excited to do the next one. We also have, the donation drive, Red Deer Calgary. Grand Prairie, I believe, is doing one as well. Yeah, and we have a few other events. If you check out our page, we'll have links to all of them.
And just for a quick reminder, where and when can people go to drop off the donations?
You can donate to we'll be set up at City Hall in Lloydminster between 12 and 5. The Pollinator Gardens in Vermilion at the same time between 12 and 5. If you're not able to make that time, you can message us on our Facebook page, Lloydminster and Vermilion for Equity, and one of us can gladly go and pick up whatever items you have.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tigra.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
On Saturday was World Diabetes Day. Evan Kenny has more with type 1 diabetic Caleb Dahlgren.
Joining me again today for part 3 of our interview is former Humboldt Bronco and current York University Lion, Caleb Dahlgren. Caleb, thank you for joining me very much. Now, Caleb, we have been talking about your life with type 1 diabetes, and you've done something really cool. You created a not-for-profit called Dahlgren's Diabetes. I guess, Caleb, just first of all, in your own words, can you just describe what this is and how it all started?
So it's a mentorship program for type 1 diabetic children. It all kind of started when I was 16, actually. I thought of the idea, and at the time I was in North Battleford playing AAA hockey with the Stars. And I wanted to do something to give back to the diabetic community, but I didn't know what or how. And I thought of this idea because I was thinking of my childhood and what I would have liked as a child. And there was a support that I could ask questions about diabetes to that was relatable and easy to talk to, and something that wasn't my parents, wasn't the doctors, just someone that I could just reach out to and be like, hey, I'm wondering about this. And so I thought about that when I was 16, and then I was like, you know what, I really want to do this. I want to start like now. And so I talked to my parents, and they said, you know what, you should wait until you graduate high school. You have more time in junior hockey. Just take your time. So I said, okay. So then I ended up playing in Notre Dame for the Notre Dame Hounds of the SJHL, my 18-year-old year and 19-year-old season. And as I was in my 19-year-old season, I still haven't done anything about it. I was really, really wanting to do something, and I didn't know how. I wanted to be honest, I just wanted a bigger center. Wilcox is a town of 400 people. There's not many fans there, and there obviously are fans there, but there's not, like I was saying, a bigger community, like a 1,000 rank filled with people just cheering for this diabetes. So I was like, okay, I have to ask for a trade. So sadly, in my last year going into junior, I asked for a trade at Notre Dame. I was assistant captain at the time, so it wasn't like it was easy for me to leave the program. I absolutely loved it there. And I got traded to Humboldt, and that was when I talked to Darcy and kind of proposed my program, and he absolutely loved it. He said, like, we're 100% taking this on, and we got to do it. This is great for the community. This is awesome that you want to do this initiative. So the whole initiative was to bring a type 1 diabetic out to a game. They were called the Dahlgren Diabetes, and they would come out to the game. They'd have pregame meal at Johnny's Bistro, which is a local restaurant in Humboldt. Also my Billis restaurant. I personally love it. A little bit biased, but I actually think still it's the best restaurant. Lots of people love it in Humboldt too. It's a nice little family-owned restaurant. And so they get a little meal there, and they go to the game with their family, get complimentary tickets for them and their family members, come to the game, and then they get to watch opening ceremony. They get to watch the warm-up, get the diabetes jersey on, and then they come out for opening ceremonies and have an opening face-off with me and the opposing captain. And so at the time, I was lucky enough to be assistant captain in Humboldt, and our captain at Logan Schatz was kind enough to let me take the draw. So I was able to take the draw with the diabetes and the captain of the other team. So it was a really special moment. And the whole idea of it was just to make that diabetes feel special and feel beautiful for their diabetes, and not something different or an outsider like a lot of people feel. I know a lot of people feel like they're outsiders. So the whole idea was to be, like, I guess, kind of cheered upon and raised up for their difference instead of put down for their difference. So there's still more too. And then after the game, I'd meet with the family, give them like a Bronco package and a diabetes package. And then I add them into the family group chat with all the other diabetes families. So that way they had support of others who were in the same situation. They weren't alone. And then I also kept in touch with them bi-weekly. And then I went to their school to do a presentation or team, whatever they preferred, just to kind of raise more awareness and also talk about diabetes and how it's different for everyone and how we just have to be accepting of these people. So it was a really, really rewarding program.
And now moving from Humboldt to York University, these games and your Dahlgren's diabetes has continued. Just how special has that been, seeing it transfer over from Saskatchewan to Ontario where you are now?
So like when I went to York, that was one of the main things as I was getting recruited my 20-year-old season. That was like the biggest thing I wanted, was to continue Dahlgren's diabetes. When I was in Humboldt, I was talking to some schools and I was saying like, they knew about the program, these schools, and I said like, I would still want to carry this program on. I don't want it to just die here for 1 year. And lots of them were all in favor of it. And then so with York, I had committed to them before that actually I was already enrolled in school and was ready to go there in the fall, but wasn't publicly announced. And no one really knew about it either. It was just strictly my coaches and myself. So with that, they said they're going to carry on the program. So sure enough, with everything that happened in the crash, we had a Mark Cross Humboldt Strong Tour, and we actually came back to Humboldt and played a game against the University of Calgary. And that was when I had my first ever York University diabetes. And it was in Humboldt, so it was where it all started. And it was really cool to kind of the full circle come together and see my next generation of diabetes at York be the first one ever. And it was in Humboldt. So I think that was super special. And then fast forward to November, I had another diabetes induction at York. It was the first time ever at York. And then the next year, so that would have been last year, that was when we were with Guelph. And that was a really special moment too. It was nice to have some former diabetes from Ontario come out. I didn't want it just to be Saskatchewan based. I wanted to expand. And so, yeah, I had Montreal, one from Quebec, Longueuil, and then one couple from Toronto area. So I think it was really, really awesome to have them come out and be a part of it. And it was also amazing to have Brendan, like you said, the Guelph goalie there. I actually had no idea he was a type 1 diabetic. It was completely random, to be honest. We were talking with Guelph before, just talking about this is what's kind of going to happen. There's a ceremony. We're having a Dahlgren diabetes night for York. And they're like, no way, like our goalie is actually type 1 diabetic too. And so that was like, I didn't know this. And you don't really hear of type 1 diabetics in youth sports. There's a couple I know of now, but before I didn't know there was many in youth sports. And yeah, so it really just worked out that he was a type 1 diabetic and I met him. And now we still keep in contact today. He's actually a great guy. He's from out east Halifax, and yeah, he's at Guelph. So I think it's crazy how small the diabetic world is and big it is too. Yeah, it was a really cool moment. And it was also nice just to honor the diabetics and still make them feel beautiful for their difference. I think that's the biggest thing. And then now they're starting to get older. It's been for 3 years now, so they're starting to get older in age. And it's nice to be at this part of life with them too. Like when their first diagnosis is obviously really hard, but now they're starting to get adjusted to it and starting to want to give back and do new things. So lots of them have been creating their own initiatives, which is the whole goal, is to have the ripple effect.
Caleb, I appreciate you taking all this time with me. This was Caleb Dahlgren.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Taking a look at temperatures right now. Once again, we're still sitting around that -7 area right now. And of course, it feels a little bit cooler with that wind chill, so more so like -17. As we take a look out west, a little bit warmer in some areas like Edmonton, Red Deer, and Rocky Mount House at -4. -10 right now in Edson with -8 in Whitecourt, and then -7 in Jasper along with Cold Lake, as well as in North Battleford and Melford. We see -5 in Saskatoon, -8 in Meadow Lake, and -9 right now in Prince Albert. There are a few snowfall warnings in northern Alberta. We'll get to that that in just a second here. But taking a look at northern Saskatchewan, Losh and Buffalo Narrows sitting at -10. Then we see -11s consistently throughout northern Saskatchewan in areas like La Ronge, Walson Lake, and in South End as well. -13 up in Uranium City. So Fort Chipewyan, High Level, and Peace River are currently under a snowfall warning right now that could see up towards of 10 to 20 centimeters expected for the evening tonight there. So -10 we see there in Fort Chipewyan as well as in Peace River. Grand Prairie sitting at -9, along with Slave Lake sitting at -6 and -8 right now at Fort McMurray, then -12 in High Level. Now take a look at southern Alberta, a little bit warmer in the positive temperatures. We see 5 degrees in Lethbridge, 8 degrees in Medicine Hat, -4 in Coronation, 1 degree in Calgary, and then 2 degrees in Banff right now. We also see 1 degree in Swift Current, -2 in Moose Jaw, then -4s in Kindersley, Regina, and Estevan, and then -7 right now we see in Yorkton. Now, as we take a look across the country here, Toronto's starting to get into the minuses right now. Of course, last week we talked about them being in the 20-degree range. Now they're in -1 right now. A little bit of cloud coverage overnight. Quebec City at -3 with some clouds right now. 3 degrees we also see in the maritime areas like St. John's and in Halifax, all with some cloud coverage. -7 in Winnipeg right now. I did mention -4 in Regina. Lots of cloud coverage throughout most of the country here today. -4 in Edmonton, 12 degrees in Vancouver, -12 in Yellowknife with some snow, and -17 up in Whitehorse with some snow as well. Now taking a look at us for tomorrow, we are going to warm up a little bit, but not by a whole lot, because we could see it feeling more so like -17 with that wind chill tomorrow. But -3 is our expected daytime high for tomorrow. -4 in Vermilion, -3 in Marwayne. We also see -4s up in St. Paul, Cold Lake, and Pearceland as well. -2 for Lac La Biche tomorrow. -5 in Bonnyville. We also see -4 in Edmonton for tomorrow. And then we go down to Provost and Macklin at -1 in Provost and Wainwright. And then we go to 2 degrees, in Macklin. And then we see -3s in North Battleford and Maidstone. Now, as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, we are expecting some snow on Thursday, maybe around that upwards of maybe up to 2 centimeters there. Then -12 on Friday, -9 on Sunday. We're going to start to see some fairly colder temperatures with the wind chill. So we're going to start feeling more so like -20 days as well. And we also could see some snow possibly on Monday, Tuesday as well, mainly more so on the Tuesday side of things, where we could see a decent amount of snow coming our way early next week there. But that is a look at your weather forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. In Canada, approximately every year, 6,000 youth will age out of care in the adoptive community. Our Shelby Clark spoke with the Adoption Support Centre of Saskatchewan about their new online Growing Home campaign and how residents can help support.
I'm speaking with Leah Deans with the Adoption Support Centre of Saskatchewan. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
So since November is Adoption Awareness Month in Saskatchewan, what's all planned this year to raise awareness?
Well, each year for November Adoption Awareness Month, we do a whole variety of different things. We, first of all, we work with all the larger cities and the province to have the month proclaimed as Adoption Awareness Month, which we did again this year. We typically will do some different types of awareness events, maybe some workshops and things like that for people. This year, we're actually excited to be launching a first time for us, a campaign. It's called Growing Home. And the goal of the campaign is to raise some funds so that we can provide services to families after they adopt children that can assist them in parenting, whether it's adoption or any other type of permanency. Families typically need a lot of support going forward with their children.
And can you tell me more about this non-for-profit organization in Saskatoon and how exactly you've served the adoptive community for the past 30 years?
Oh, for sure. So the Adoption Support Center, you're right, we've been around for 30 years, over 30 years now, actually. The organization started really with a group of adoptive parents that were parenting children and found that they found a lot of support in getting together and talking about issues and things that are unique to parenting this way. From there, they could see there was a lot of need for sharing of information with a lot of families, because adoption, ultimately, I mean, if we took a look at it, usually 1 in 3 people will have some kind of a connection to adoption. So from there, the organization grew into an information and resource center that provides services to all aspects of adoption and permanency, not just adoptive parents and parenting, but we also sometimes will work with adoptees. Sometimes we'll work with birth parents, first parents, professionals, a wide variety of people.
And now with this Growing Home fundraising campaign that started today, how is this going to work online for this?
Yeah, so for people that are interested in learning more about it, they can go to our website. It's www.adoptionsask.org. They will go eventually, if they're on Facebook and they see it, it will take them to our landing page. To donate, they can go to growinghomecampaign.org. And they'll learn a little bit more about what we're trying to do, which is essentially develop some programming that is very specific to assist parents that may be caring for children that have had sort of adverse early childhood experiences, or maybe they have complex needs and they need a little bit of extra support and guidance with that. So all funds raised will go towards helping us provide that programming for families throughout the province.
And now, what are some other ways that residents can help support this fundraiser and Adoption Month in general?
Essentially just to, take a look at what it is, what we're trying to do, share it with family and friends. As I said, most people know that most people will have, not too far removed from them, some connection to adoption and permanency. And adoption can be, permanency can have it can look many different ways. Adoption is only one form of permanency for children. There's other types as well. There's kinship care, there's long-term care, there's legal guardianship, and all of these types of permanency situations are valuable for kids. So when people come to learn a little bit more about our fundraising campaign and that we're trying to provide programming for that, we'd be very happy to have them read and learn more and participate in the fundraiser.
And with the fundraiser, what exactly is the main goal for this campaign, and when does it end?
Sure, the fundraiser is going to run from now until December 21st. And the main goal, we're trying to raise $10,000. And with that funds amount, we will create programming that will assist families after they have an adoption or a permanency plan made with a child in parenting and tackling some of the different and unique issues that will be a part of that picture.
And how exactly has support been with the center in previous years and now with COVID-19 this year?
We've done different types of programming throughout the years, but we've never been able to do as much, deliver as much province-wide as we are now. With COVID-19, it rushed us into sort of having to do a lot more online, a lot more virtual like everyone else. And we're finding a really good uptake with that. We're finding we're getting very good participation from families that are out there across the province. So it's allowed us to have a bigger reach. And so therefore, we are now wanting to actually provide more now that we can see that it's an effective way for us to share this information.
Thank you so much again for joining me today, Leah.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Now we will be taking a look at your pet pad pictures. Thank you to everyone who submitted a picture to our Facebook page, and we will be giving away a pet pad gift card on Friday.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined once again by Becca Lawrence for this week's Pet Project. How are you doing this week, Becca?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So who do we have here today? Who's this little cutie?
This little guy here, his name is Whitey. So I believe that he came in just by himself, but we have another feline friend in here named Coraline, and I believe that's what his name is from. So because they look very similar, but yeah, he's I think about 4 or 5 months old, and neutered, freshly neutered, so he's ready to go to his forever home. and obviously you can see he's quite affectionate.
Yeah, he seems like a very relaxed cat. We were talking off camera for a few minutes, and he just sat there so nice and pretty, didn't jump around or anything. So he seems like he's fairly good with people, like he's a fairly calm cat.
Yeah, like if you're kind of in the market for a kitten but don't want a crazy one, little Whitey would be a great option.
Beautiful. So there you go, folks. So we were discussing last week, Becca, but you guys are currently full of cats, correct?
Yes, we are jam-packed full right now, yes.
Yeah. So obviously anybody out there, if you're looking for a cat or, even you guys do a foster program, correct, Becca?
Yes, we do. Yeah, like if with our kittens, we still have litters of kittens coming in, which is a little unusual for this time of year. But we're still getting them in, so we'd love to have some fosters. But yeah, I mean, even too, we would love to have our little kitties find their forever homes as well.
So anybody out there, if you've been thinking about getting a cat for a little while, there's no better time to get one than now if you're looking to help out the SPCA currently. Or, of course, like we said, you could always foster. So, Becca, if somebody wanted to go about fostering, how does that work?
Yeah, we just have a form on our website. So it's just at lloydminsterspca.com. And yeah, you can fill out that form. And then our operations manager, Zoe Gray, she reviews them and everything. And then as soon as we need more fosters, we send out an email. And then if you're a first-time foster, then we just go through an orientation really quick with you when you come to pick up the animal. And you're good to go after that. So it's a nice, quick process. And it's a nice opportunity for you to help us out and then see if that's maybe a calling for you.
Beautiful. So anybody out there, if you want to volunteer, if you want to do something good for some animals in the border city, certainly get in touch with the SPCA. Do that foster thing, and maybe you'll end up liking the cat, and you'll want to keep it. So,
yeah.
Becca, how are you guys doing for other animals? I know you guys have been low on dogs, which is, again, a good thing for you guys. Maybe not so much if you're looking for a dog in the border city, but as far as operations for you guys, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's good. The dogs got the memo to stay home when it's cold out, so the cats just need that same memo. But yeah, no, we're doing really good. We have a couple stray dogs in the back right now. They're currently not up for viewing, but yeah, so we do have a couple in the shelter, but again, not full like the kitties are, but which is perfectly fine. But yeah, so we will have some dogs here up for viewing hopefully soon.
Beautiful. And real quick before we go, we were talking about the jail and bail last week, Becca, which is always an exciting fundraiser that you guys do. It's my favorite every year. So how are things going with that? Are you guys still looking for volunteers?
Yeah, like I really think it's going to be definitely a little bit of a simpler planning this year. I mean, obviously, like you can't have the people in the shelter, which is very, very sad for me too. It's my favorite as well. But it is what it is. And but yeah, so I mean, we're definitely open for more volunteers. Like we do have a list going, and yeah, we're hoping that it's going to be a nice and easy way to volunteer this year. I mean, you don't actually have to be at the shelter, but yeah, we're more than happy to have any volunteers that wanna come hang out with us this year.
Beautiful. So if anybody out there in the border city wants to help raise some money for the SPCA, perhaps you're a person of interest, maybe a business owner, maybe on city council, who knows? But if you would like to raise some money for the SPCA, certainly get in touch with them for the jail and bail coming up. I know we had a few people downstairs in the office who were kind of, arguing about who got to do the jail and bail this year. So it's definitely going to be a fun event. So get in touch with Becca. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week. So thank you for joining us once again, Becca, and we will speak with you again next week.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
It's International Fraud Awareness Week, and joining me to talk a little bit more about this is Tyler McMurtry from SGI. Tyler, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Happy to be here.
So just starting off, insurance fraud, it isn't always an elaborate plan. A lot of times it can be kind of just simple things. Can you just tell me a little bit about insurance fraud?
Sure. Insurance fraud is essentially any time you make a claim to benefits from an insurance company that you wouldn't be entitled to. In some cases, it might be exaggerating the damage from a claim, or even completely manufacturing the claim, or causing the damage yourself in an attempt to get insurance benefits. So what we want to do is just highlight the importance of, when you are dealing with an insurance company, telling the truth. It's as simple as that. If you tell the truth and you are upfront and you operate in good faith with the insurance company, you should get the benefits you are entitled to.
So why isn't it so important to focus on insurance fraud? Who is hurt by it?
So it's important to remember that when somebody commits insurance fraud, it's not a company that they're hurting. It's all the other customers of that company. And in the case of SGI, when you have a provincially owned insurance company that provides auto and property insurance, the people who are hurt are your friends and your neighbors here in Saskatchewan and in the other jurisdictions we do business in. So it's really, insurance fraud is one of those upward pressures that we're always trying to keep our rates low for people, but insurance fraud operates against that, and does cost insurance companies money, which are those costs are ultimately passed on to customers. We want to keep our rates as low as possible, of course.
And SGI has a special investigation unit whose task is to kind of just look and research and investigate some of these claims. Can you just tell me a little bit more about the work that they do?
Sure. So this is a team of investigators that work within SGI. They work with our claims area, and whenever there's a claim that there is, maybe something a little off about it, the SIU may be brought in to find out what the truth is. And they're really truth seekers. I mean, they're just interested in finding the truth. They're not interested in doing work to deny people the insurance benefits they're rightfully entitled to. And in fact, we're just as happy to find that people are going to entitled to the benefits that they are claiming. But sometimes we may get a tip off from a member of the public, or from people in law enforcement, or there might be just something off about the claim that's noticed by the adjuster who's handling it. So that's when SIU would be brought in.
And for people who are maybe know something about possibly some insurance fraud that is being done, what are some things that they can do to let the proper authorities know?
Well, if they think that the theft is being perpetrated against an insurance company that they know the insurance company in question, whether it's SGI or another insurance company, I'd encourage them to reach out to that insurance company and let them know. You can contact SGI either via our customer service center, or if you just go to our website and look up SIU, you can find contact information. You can email the SIU directly, siu@sgi.sk.ca, I believe is the email address off the top of my head. But there's also, if you want to report things like that anonymously, you could also go via Crime Stoppers. If you suspect it's, and insurance fraud's a crime, that's another thing to keep in mind. So you can always report crime to law enforcement as well.
All right, thanks for taking some time to talk to me today, Tyler. It's good to highlight some of these issues that are going to not affect just SGI, but also taxpayers in general.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody who pays insurance premiums should have an interest in preventing insurance fraud.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We should see some more sun tomorrow on Wednesday at -3, and then we'll have some cold temperatures for the next little bit here, as we are expecting some snow on Thursday with that high of -12. -12 we'll see also on Friday, as well as heading into the weekend. We'll see some fairly colder temperatures, mainly with that wind, so it could be a little bit colder, maybe even closer to the -20s, even higher than that as well. -11 Sunday, -10 on Monday, and then -8 on Tuesday with some cloud coverage. We could see some more snow, possibly starting Monday night, carrying over into Tuesday.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.